Positions on the party executive arising out of the resignations of the political leader, the chairman, and a previous vacant position of vice chairman. Now, according to the Constitution, the General Council has the power to fill any vacant position on the executive, with the exception of political leader, which must be filled by the convention of the party. Today, that special meeting that was summoned specifically for that purpose to fill the position of chairman and vice chairman did occur. The meeting was chaired by Lady Vice Chairman Camille Robinson Regis, and the election, she was also the presiding officer for the election. There were 122 persons, elected members of the General Council, who were eligible to participate in these elections. Must I also say that these filling of these two vacant positions are interim in nature, in that they will last until the party summons an annual convention and internal elections to fill the various offices. For the position of chairman, there were two nominees: Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, the Member of Parliament for St. Anne's East, and His Worship Mayor Chinua Allen, Mayor of the Port of Spain Corporation. The results of that election are as follows: 60 votes for Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly, 58 votes for Mayor Chinua Allen, and 4 spoiled ballots. As a result, the new chairman of the People's National Movement is Dr. Nyan Gadsby Dolly. The position of vice chairman, there was a lone contestant for that position, and the lone nominee was the Honorable Colm Imber, who is the Member of Parliament for Diego Martin North East. And as a result, the new vice chairman of the PNM, having been uncontested, is MP Colm Imber. Any questions?
So in terms of the structure of the party now in opposition, the only thing that may be the issue of political leader and deputy political leaders when those are given.
That is correct. As it is now, the leadership of the party will comprise the chairman, vice chairman, lady vice chairman, the political leader of the Tobago Council, which is Mr. Ansel Dennis, and myself as general secretary. And the leadership will meet and discuss and agree on when the party will move to internal elections to elect the new political leader, and as well to have full elections for all the offices within the movement.
Is this the first time we've had a situation where an opposition leader was solely not being the leader of that party that was announced?
It is not the first time. In 2010, following the defeat of the PNM then, and the resignation of the political leader then, Mr. Manning, Dr. Rowley, the General Council approved for Dr. Rowley to be named opposition leader, even before he was elected as political leader. He was subsequently elected as political leader.
Mr. Cummins, as the party attempts to rebuild right now, we're seeing the positions of chairman and vice chairman being filled by two persons who are already part of the leadership team, because these two persons were deputy political leaders just last week before Dr. Rowley revoked their positions. In an attempt to rebuild the party, do you think that there should have been new blood or new persons forming part of the leadership team, seeing that this is the core team responsible for the massive defeat?
There will be great opportunity for all party members to offer themselves for election to the various offices of the party when the internal elections are held within a few weeks. And therefore, on this occasion, I suspect that party members felt that it was better to earn the side of experience of persons who would have already served at the leadership level, so that those persons with their experience can guide the party safely through an internal election.
Now, we still have a reduction in the size of the leadership team. As far as moving forward and being a strong opposition and being a strong party, do you think there's a need to call a convention sooner than later, within 6-month period. So
That-
we could fill the
That is the intention. There is no intention on our part to, of course, the Constitution gives a maximum period of 6 months for the position of political leader to be filled. When the leadership of the party meets, I'm sure that they will take all of the matters into consideration and that we'll move as quickly as possible to move towards a free and fair election within the PNM to elect a new leader and executive for the party.
We're seeing several press conferences taking place. Of course, you are in position as General Secretary to speak. We saw yesterday former Energy Minister speaking. Going forward, now that we have, I guess, an interim leadership party, who will be representing PNM speaking first? Should we be accustomed hearing from the opposition leader going forward, or would we have
Today, as you're aware, earlier today, the Member of Parliament for Rima, the Honorable Penelope Beckles Robbins, received an instrument of appointment as leader of the opposition bench. And as such, the official voice of the PNM opposition will be the leader of the opposition who received the appointment today.
But can the population expect to know going forward, the new opposition leader, what you have announced in terms of the PNM now in opposition, especially in terms of any particular type of legislation, let's say things dealing with war and crime, for example?
Well, I would really suggest that you pose that question to the opposition leader. I think in her statement today, following the receipt of her appointment, she did indicate that while the opposition will hold the government to account, that where there is legislation that deals with the development of the country in a positive way, that this opposition, led by her, will give support to that type of legislation. That was part of her speech today, and I'm sure that you will see that coming forward as we continue to be a responsible party in opposition.
What's the mood of the General Council like? I'm not going to answer the question I'm asking because there is a conversation that the PNM was a bit out of touch with the people, and the people want to know what's going on behind the walls of the PNM. Is there an internal rift? We want to know what the General Council is doing. Is it that they
The
want
mood at the General Council was one of rebuilding. There was high energy. As a matter of fact, the General Council, the turnout today was very impressive, and therefore it shows that party members are committed to the rebuilding process, so that we are very comfortable now that we have the appointment of the opposition leader in place, that we have filled these 2 vacancies today, and we will now move forward to continue the reorganizing and the rebuilding process of the party. As we move forward and the General Council meets, you'll continue to get updates from the party and the officers of the party, and as well as the leader of the opposition takes office, you will receive information coming from that office as well.
Is there a post-mortem process at all? Does the party have an official process for looking into?
We consistently review all of the information coming out of our performance at elections, even when we are successful. And the process of analyzing what would have occurred leading up to the elections of April 28 will be an ongoing process that will start shortly.
Is there any message that you need to send to the membership at all? Because this is, I mean, the result was like astounding. I would describe it as like quite surprising and even astounding might be the word to use. So is there any sort of message, because, I mean, you come here quite perky and strong looking and so forth, but I don't know what the mood is among the wider membership, if there's complacency, if there's shock. I mean, there'll be a variety maybe.
What I can say to you is that in her address to the General Council a short while ago, the leader of the opposition did indicate to the members that we are on a course to rebuilding, that we will take the views of the General Council and the wider membership into consideration in regard to that rebuilding process. And therefore, as leaders of the movement, we are going to embark on a process that will involve the members of the party, giving their opinions, giving their views, and that will inform the way forward.
As part of the challenge also dealing with, to just follow up on Sean's question, because you are members of the PNM who may have felt they didn't like the direction or leadership of the party and so on, getting those members back to a point of support of the party and this new leadership structure. How do you intend to?
It is our intention, in addition to getting information from the various constituencies, that we will interface on a one-on-one with various constituencies across the country. So very soon you will see the party leadership and officers interacting and moving throughout the country to meet with the various constituency groups as we seek to get here at Balize House as much information as possible to guide us, as I said, in our reorganizing and rebuilding process.
The current administration, when they were in opposition, they would have held weekly opposition press conferences. Do we expect to see that from you?
You will, of course, be getting information, as I mentioned earlier, both from the party and from the office of leader of the opposition. In terms of how frequently that will be, you will be advised as the media. And of course, we thank you very much for your fair reporting of our activities here in the PNM.
Final question. In terms of choosing...
As a final?
This is a final. In terms of electing the political leader of the party going forward, is that determined by this leadership team only, the general council?
The process, I'll take you through the process. The process will be that the leadership team will meet and consider how the schedule of activities leading up to the elections, that schedule will be taken back to the General Council for approval. And I can tell you now, it will involve the one-man, one-vote process. And therefore, all party members, party units, will have the opportunity to make nominations of party members in good standing who they feel they would like to nominate for the various positions, starting with chairman, political leader, etc. And following that nomination process, we move towards a one-man, one-vote election where all party members in good standing will be able to cast their ballot. Usually, the General Council will appoint an election supervisory committee to manage that whole process, and on this occasion, it will be no different.
It's part of the same question. So even though the opposition leader was sworn in today, is that safe to say that she will be the next political leader?
Well, there is no way to say. It's not automatic. There's a process that will require a nomination, and then there will be a period where persons will be able to distribute their information to party members, campaign to party members, sell their vision to party members, and coming out of that, there will be an election day, and party members will be allowed to cast their vote.
Right now?
Well, let us wait. Let us await the process, and you will be advised accordingly. Final question.
It's part of your post-mortem, it's not the campaign that the PNM ran itself, because there was a sense that the UNC, even their campaign song and so on, that it seemed as if they ran a stronger campaign.
It is a matter that will be addressed at the next regular General Council meeting, and following that meeting, we will give you that information. But we now have our newly elected chairman and vice chairman who will, of course, join us and address you.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here at Balize House. We, the PNM, have just completed our very democratic process of filling the vacant positions of chairman and vice chairman. I want to congratulate our newly minted vice chairman, Colin Mimbert, someone who has been here before and continues to serve. And I want to thank the General Council for the confidence reposed in me to serve as the chairman during this very critical time in the PNM's transition, as we look forward towards the organization of our internal election, where we will fill the, of course, political leader position that is very critical to be filled as we move into opposition and organize ourselves to be the formidable opposition that we expect to be as we wait to assume our position as the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
Questions? It's often said that sometimes rejection is a form of redirection. Do you feel that Dr. Rowley revoking your position now led to you having an even upper hand, having been chairman and vice chairman now? What do you feel about that? How do you think Dr. Rowley's doing?
If you're into politics, it's a very dynamic space. And I think Dr. Rowley has prepared his young people. He calls us his young people. 10 years ago, he took us and gave us responsibility. And I think Dr. Rowley is going to be very proud of the fact that he has raised a cadre of leaders that can take their rightful place now that he has moved on to the organization of the party, the leadership of the party. I think that is very important. And I think he'll be very proud of us.
Some people say that the reason for him revoking, apart from the fact that he resigned, had to do with the fact that you all are now responsible for choosing the political leader. And it didn't seem like he was, a lot of people are saying that he wasn't quite fond of the fact of Penelope Becker's being up for political leader. But now you all are back in these positions. You're saying that he's proud, but what are your thoughts towards that?
Let me correct that. There is no provision in the PNM's constitution for an interim political leader. We experienced this when Mr. Manning resigned back in 2010. We have to elect a political leader. So we have to go to a convention. It's a one-man, one vote, and therefore it's not us. It's the 100,000 members of the PNM, registered members of the PNM, who will elect a leader and all the other positions as well in an internal election. We are just here, myself and Dr. Donny, to guide the party through towards the internal election, because we felt it was necessary to have as many people as possible in the leadership. It was down to 3, if you think about it. It was just the deputy political leader Tobago, the general secretary, and the lady vice chairman. And we didn't think it was a good idea to have just 3 people given that burden, that responsibility to manage the process going forward. Now we have 5, the chairman and myself. And I want to make a statement on my own behalf. I did not go for the position of chairman because I felt it is time for the younger people in the party to come forward, and I will not be contesting a position in the next internal election. Okay? I will wait for whoever is appointed leader and see whether that person, in their wisdom, may wish to ask me to be a deputy political leader. But I won't be contesting chairman, vice chairman, or any position. I think it's time for younger people and fresh faces to come forward and take over the leadership of the PNM.
And this is the best formula, where we have the experience guiding the young people working together at the same time, so that we can learn the principles, the culture of the PNM, the culture of leadership, so that we are the best party. We continue to be the best party going forward. So I want to thank Mr. Imbert for always being a mentor.
Thank you.
Sometimes the mentorship can rub hard, but
you get strong.
You get strong.
Okay. And I just want to make the point, the deputy leader is an appointed position. It's not an elected position. So it's up to the political leader, whoever that is, to appoint 3 deputies. So that is what I would ask. I may not be accommodated. I may just ride off into the sunset, but I would not be fighting for any elected position within the party. Of course, yes. I think my experience is necessary. I am the longest serving MP now in the PNM.
So no retirement in your...
Well, I did say this would be my last term, and I already have succession planning in place. I have a nice group of young people who are being groomed to present themselves to be the next MP for the Gamata Northeast, which will be a PNM MP. Okay?
In the absence of a political leader, how does it work in terms of the communication between, let's say, parliamentary caucus of the PNM and the leadership of the party, in terms of positions on the issues within or outside the party?
You can see. I did mention earlier that you will be receiving information from 2 channels. One is the Office of the Leader of the Opposition, as well as from Balize House through the regular offices of the movement. And as you know, the party bench in the parliament, the opposition bench, that will be the caucus that would look at all issues of legislation and how they would treat with those matters. And do all of those persons sit on the General Council of the movement. So in terms of party policy and positioning, there will be that communication at that level of the party, between the party bench and the General Council officers of the movement. Yes?
Dr. Dolly, we see a female Prime Minister, President, opposition leader, and now female chairman of the People's National Movement. Your thoughts on that, and do you think now that women are in charge of PNM, we won't have a defeat like that?
I don't think anyone who claims to be a political guru can honestly say they can predict the outcome of any election, even as much as polls may give you some direction. But it is refreshing to see women taking their place, and alongside the men, of course. Politics has always been a male-dominated career, and it is nice to see women taking their place, which is not to say that that is a panacea for success. It really comes down to hard work, commitment, and gender plays a role, yes, but it is not the determining factor, though I am happy to see that type of change.
Do you think we'll have an opposition chief whip as a female?
That is up to the opposition leader.
Folks, thank you all very much.
Good afternoon, everybody. I am Laura Lizama, your PNM Education Officer, and I am here to give you a quick update about the activities of today, Tuesday, the 6th of May, 2025. As you are aware, just a few moments ago, the Honorable Penelope Beckles Robinson, Member of Parliament for Arima, received her instrument of appointment from Her Excellency, the President of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, Christine Carla Kangaloo, ORTT. This happened a few minutes ago at the President's house. The function started promptly at 3 p.m. and Her Excellency presented our newly installed leader of the opposition with her instrument of appointment. This was followed by a really nation-building, soul-stirring speech presented by our new opposition leader. A speech which spoke to hope, which spoke to transparency and accountability, a speech which spoke to the possibility of all of us as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Madam Opposition Leader presented her story, a very brief synopsis of her growing up as a child in an area with no water, and then moving from that child in an area with no water to becoming today the opposition leader of Trinidad and Tobago. As you are aware, it was really a beautiful full circle moment to see the female president of the country present the instruments of appointment to the first female PNM leader of the opposition. So it was a beautiful moment for the PNM, for the women of the PNM, for the women of Trinidad and Tobago, for Arima, all of us who are the constituents of this opposition leader, and for all of us. It signaled hope, it signaled transition, and it signaled the possibility of a really bright and wonderful future for our country. The opposition leader also informed the national population that the other 12 members of her bench are committed to nation building. This will not be an obstructionist opposition, but rather this will be an opposition that will do everything in its power to develop, build and support the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And so we concluded that wonderful ceremony at the President's house a few moments ago. Many of us made our way around the savannah and headed south, just a few meters away to Balize House, the other house in Port of Spain. So we are here live at Balize House, Port of Spain. As you may be aware, in just about 14 minutes, a special meeting of the General Council will be convened. This meeting comes about at the request of 20 members of the General Council. In accordance with regulations of the General Council in the PNM's Constitution, Part 4.3, it talks about the meetings. A special meeting shall be called at any time by the General Secretary, A, on the discretion of the Chairman, B, on a written request signed by 15 members, and C, on a written request of the political leader. So 20 members of the General Council signed a letter requesting that a special meeting of the General Council be held. This special meeting of the General Council, the agenda has been circulated in accordance with the Constitution. And what is the agenda for this special meeting? The agenda is, 1, to acknowledge the vacancy that exists in the offices of both chairman of the party and the vice chairman of the party. If I may refresh your memory, last week we received the resignation of the former chairman of the party, Honorable Stuart Young, MP, SC, from his substantive portfolio as chairman, and over the past 2.5 years we have not had a sitting vice chairman, Dr. the Honorable Nayan Gadsby-Dolly, won at the convention in 2022, and she was picked by the then political leader to be deputy political leader policy, thereby vacating her office as vice chairman of the party, and that position has not been filled since. And therefore, in the absence of a chairman and a vice chairman, and with the current constitution of the party's leadership being only the lady vice chairman, the general secretary, and the deputy political leader, Tobago Council, 3 out of 8 members of the leadership of the party, the General Council, members of the General Council who have asked for this meeting, saw it fit to ensure that we are able to elect the 2 positions that can be elected, which would be chairman and vice chairman. I know there was some confusion about the deputy political leader, Tobago. According to our constitution, the PNM has 4 deputy political leaders. Deputy political leader legislative, deputy political leader policy, deputy political leader party and election matters, deputy political leader Tobago. The first 3 deputy political leaders, policy, legislative and party and election matters, serve at the invitation of the substantive political leader. So they are appointed rather than elected. The difference with the deputy political leader Tobago is that as part of the PNM's recognition of the autonomy of Tobago in 1998, we transformed and created the Tobago Council. And in recent constitutional changes, we changed it that the deputy political leader Tobago is not appointed by the political leader, but rather elected by the people of Tobago. So Ansel Dennis is an elected member. The current deputy political leader Tobago is elected and not appointed, and therefore there could be no revocation of his deputy political leader status. The only way he would not be a deputy political leader is if he resigned, which he has not, which is not necessary at this point. And so we have 1 deputy political leader, we have the elected lady vice chairman, and we have the general secretary. Once we elect today at this special general council meeting, the chairman and vice chairman, the body of the leadership will now comprise 5 people, and then we will be able to take the party forward in the way the PNM knows best. Speaking about the election of the chairman and vice chairman, which have been highlighted in the notice to the members of the General Council as to what the agenda items are, that's what it is. It talks about Article 12 of the Constitution 9, the General Council shall have the power to determine if a vacancy exists in any office and to make an appointment and to fill such vacancy in the absence of specific provisions, therefore, in the Constitution. This is further solidified in Article 18, which speaks about election and removal of officers. Article 18(7) says, again, the General Council shall have the power to fill a vacancy occurring in any office in the absence of specific provisions, therefore, under the Constitution. Where a vacancy occurs in the office of political leaders, such a vacancy shall be filled within 6 months of its occurrence at a special or annual convention. Dr. the Honorable Keith Rowley, our past immediate political leader, tendered his resignation on April 30th with effect from the 1st of May, the following day. So as of the 1st of May, there has been a vacancy in the office of the political leader, and we have 6 months to fill that vacancy. So today, we're just dealing with the business of electing a chairman and a vice chairman. So after this meeting is held, which is due to start just around 5:30, we are scheduled to have a press conference just around 6:30 or immediately following the meeting, and you'll be invited to join us again then to get an update as to who your General Council elected as the chairman and vice chairman of the People's National Movement. The PNM remains committed to each and every one of you, the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, and we will continue to do all in our power to put our best foot forward in service to you and for you. Thank you all so very much, and see you at 6:30 p.m. or thereabouts when the meeting finishes. Thank you.
Oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na, oh na 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 na. You've got to sow on your own, sow on your own, sow on your own. No, you've got to seek out the sky, yeah, seek out the sky, oh, seek out the sky. Well then you've got to see for yourself now, see for yourself now. Wow, wow, wow. See for yourself if you want to learn how to. I said learn. Wings don't get strong, no, 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 until they're tested. And you still don't know, you don't know what your best is. Bye, bye, bye. You can't touch your dreams now if you don't take flight. Can you hear me now? Sometimes in this la 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 life you've got to fight, 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 fight for what's right. Come on and sow on your own, sow on your own, sow on your own. No, you've got to seek out the sky, yeah. Seek out the sky, oh, 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 yeah. Seek out the sky. Well then you've got to see for yourself now, see for yourself now, oh, oh, oh. See for yourself if you want to, if you want to, you want to.